Welcome back to She Talks Money. Today's conversation is one I think every high achieving woman needs to hear. Because what happens when the version of you that made you successful starts becoming the version that's costing you? The drive, the discipline, the pressure, the perfectionism, the ability to push through anything. Those things may have helped you build the career, the business, the income, the body, the reputation, the life that looks successful on the outside. But at some point, many women quietly start asking, why am I so tired? Why does this not feel as good as I thought it would? Why do I feel disconnected from the life I worked so hard to create? Today's guest, Angelica Ventrice, speaks directly to that. Angelica is a high performance speaker, mindset and holistic health coach, and the founder of the Aligned Method and High Performance DNA. Her work helps high achievers and teams break free from burnout, recalibrate their nervous system, and build sustainable success without sacrificing health, peace, or identity. Her recent TEDx talk, The Identity Trap, explores how the identity that once created success can quietly become what limits us, and why real transformation often requires the courage to be disloyal to who we've been in order to be honest about who we're becoming. So today we're talking about identity, burnout, health, ambition, reinvention, and what it really means to build a life that feels as good as it looks. Angelica, welcome to She Talks Money.
Thank you. What a beautiful introduction. Hit everything.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you because I have been cyber stalking you a little bit, listening to your TEDx talks and your everything on social. So I'm so excited for this conversation. I just want to start with the TEDx message because it's so powerful, and you talk about the identity trap, the idea that the identity that once created our success can quietly become what limits us. Tell us more about what that means.
Yeah, so that title came to me, and I actually think that's going to be the title of my new book. So I'm excited. So for me, growing up, if anyone here listens to the TEDx, you'll hear me talk about my father, right? Work hard, you need to make money, you don't need to like what you do. And I became very attached to this high achiever identity. Many of us become attached to an identity, high achiever, right? I'm sure a lot of the ladies listening, from
Mhm.
things that our parents said, teachers said, coaches, and we become really attached to that. So I became this, pharmaceutical sales rep, number one in the country, living the dream, like winning the awards, President's Club. On paper, it looked really good. Like you said in your intro, like on paper,
Mhm.
it looked really good. Company credit card, company car, like all the success, checking all the boxes. But over time, internally, I felt really trapped. And I was like, this attachment to this identity, it made me really successful, but I'm miserable. So I
Mhm.
had to take a hard look at myself and realize like I'm overweight, I'm burnt out, I don't like what I'm doing, I'm unfulfilled, and I detached from that. Well, I'm gonna say I'm not fully detached. This is my life's work. Like
Mhm.
this is something that is ongoing. But to that at that version at that time, removing myself from the pharmaceutical sales and following my passion, which was, at the time, holistic health and fitness and nutrition, and really making a big move to say like, sure, this identity served me for so long, but I needed to shift. And it's really hard. And one thing people don't talk about enough is grieving your old self and grieving
Mhm.
that old identity. I was too young at the time to really fully understand that. I knew I was making a big change. I was like leaving New York, moving to California with no job lined up. And it really was a huge identity shift. And now since then, I've gone through many different identity shifts and identity deaths and identity crisis and all the things, but it really was, I really felt trapped for such a long time because I thought this is what I have to do. This is what my dad told me to do. My parents said is good. Work hard, make the money. You don't need to like it. And that's what I was doing. I was working hard, making the money and not really feeling fulfilled. And then it just hit me one day, like I need to shift and get out of this trap.
Yeah. First of all, was there a lot of fear around that? And then how did you kind of just still
Yeah.
conquer it? Because I
So
think I
my
hear from a lot of women that are in that mid, like, oh, I want to chase this, but I have kids or I have bills and I have all of these things, and it's so much fear around just making that jump. How do you face that?
there's always going to be fear, right? And the courage
Mhm.
has to, you have to bring you. I just say like you bring fear with you, right? Like of
Yeah.
course I'm scared leaving this multi six figure job to go work at a gym. By the way, making $14 an hour at first. That's what I did. So I just my thing is trust, and it's your
Yeah.
relationship with yourself, a deep intuition and trust that and belief. like when we talk about manifestation, like one of the strongest things you can do is having a deep, deep, deep belief. I had strong conviction and tenacity, literally tattooed on my arm,
Love it.
that like whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to be successful. And I was just like, just trust, just trust, just trust. And I really believe if you follow your gut, and you follow your intuition, and you follow your heart, are you always going to be successful? No, there might be some failures, but for me, I was like, I'd rather fail and try than like not
Hmm.
try and not know. Like, was should I, woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? That's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
Like, woulda, coulda, shoulda. So if you're in that phase where you're like, well, I want to make the move, but I have this, I have bills, I have this, I have that, take the leap. Like for me, if it meant going into debt for a little bit because I knew I was following this calling, then so be it. Like I had to, I know we're on She Talks Money and I don't know your feelings on debt, but like I did what I had to do to get to where I am
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And I made the sacrifices and I was like, yeah, I'm scared, but I don't want to not know. I have to go for it.
yeah. Hey, and we talk a lot about building wealth, but wealth is a perspective, right? Wealth doesn't necessarily mean a dollar amount. Wealth, I think to a lot of women our age, and you get to a point where wealth is actually freedom and joy and, those types of things,
Exactly.
not your bank
Exactly.
account.
Right. Not
Yeah.
just, yeah, bank account is part of it, but I say like wealth, WELL dash T, right? Like we can,
Yes.
so for me, I was like, I know the money will come and everything will come into alignment because I'm following a true calling.
Yeah. I love that. Now, you've shared a story about standing in front of a closet full of clothes that didn't fit and realizing you weren't dressing for the cold, you were dressing for shame. Can you kind of take us into that moment?
Yeah, it's weird. On the keynote I gave at the Investor Con last week, I was a closing keynote and I said that line and I remembered so viscerally like it was yesterday because I was,
Mm.
Groundhog Day, pharmaceutical sales every day, wear the nice suits, get dressed. And I just came to a point where, like I said, I gained 40 pounds and it was like pretty warm in New York. It was April, which can be hit or miss. I'm from Long Island, New York, and it was a warmer spring. And I
Hmm.
was like, nothing fits. Like, beautiful walk-in closet, like all these nice tailored suits, nothing fits me. So I
Mm.
put on whatever I could get on, and then I just wrapped myself in a heavy pea coat. Not because it was cold out, but because I was covering my body, because I was shameful, because I was disgusted, and no one had to see what was underneath. But I felt really shameful of like how I had let myself get to that point and how disconnected. And whether or not you gain weight through the process of burnout or whatever it may be, that doesn't happen to
Hmm.
everyone. You can look good on the outside, but feel horrible mentally, right?
Yeah.
Mine was
Yeah.
both. It happened to me both. But I just knew that that was one of those defining moments where I was like, ugh, I need to make a change. And I hired a coach to help me. And then through hiring him, I realized, oh, I love this. I love this.
Oh,
So yeah, but
awesome.
I felt really shameful. And I
Yeah.
did that for long. I did it for like a few, as long as I could wear a pea coat in New York without looking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because you can hide yourself and it looks professional, right? Like a fancy pea coat. It like
Yeah.
looks enough. So I would hide myself as long as I could.
So do you think your transformation started physically, emotionally, or with identity, or kind of a combination?
Great question. I believe it started physically. I don't think at
Okay.
that point, I was in my late 20s, I knew what identity was. Now,
Hmm.
hindsight reflecting back, and when I had to work on my TEDx, and I was like, what am I going to write this TEDx on? What am I going to call it? And I like
Yeah.
started like write out what my patterns were. And now that I've been mindset coaching for over 15 years. But at that point, the first part of my transformation was physical. And when I originally lost the weight, I was like, why am I still kind of not happy? And then I was like, oh, I need to do mindset work. And then I got a life
Hmm.
coach, then I got a mindset coach, then I went on spiritual journeys and all the things. So it's been quite the journey. But like at first, it was purely physical. I went from being 40 pounds overweight and then, being quite fit and feeling like, oh, okay, this feels better. But I still realized like mentally there was a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Okay.
I was gonna say that's why originally I went straight into like health, fitness, and nutrition coaching because that's what I
Oh,
had done.
sure.
And then over time, I realized with the people I was coaching, I'm like, wow, they need way more work than just physical. They're like relying on me as
Yeah.
almost like a therapist. So that's how my work kind of evolved as well. But yeah.
Interesting. Love that. So, one of the lines from your speaker reels really stood out to me, and you said, have you ever felt like the version of you that made you successful is now starting to cost you? How do you think that starts to show up for high achieving women? Because I feel like there are signs and then just all, you know what I mean? And they're red flags that we ignore. So how do you think that shows up for people?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. There's little signs, and I think a lot of them get ignored. Like it might be
Hmm.
like some headaches, some feelings that they want to isolate, feelings of depression. Then there's the obvious like weight gain, blow, just feeling like you don't feel good in your body. But there's
Yeah.
me, I think some of the common ones are like you're in a career that you thought you loved, but then you somehow starting to feel unfulfilled. You're like, well, it
Mm.
has everything that I thought I ever wanted, right? And then all of a sudden you're looking, you're like, right? So it's the feelings of unfulfillment, disconnection, and then there's like the obvious, the physical symptoms, like we talked about, that could be more red flaggy, but it's the little subtle ones that I think a lot of women ignore. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they just start to compound and
Mhm.
compound until,
Yeah.
you know,
And that's like,
then
whoop,
we're really
sirens.
suffering.
Yeah, so if we pay attention more to the little signs, like, as females, we're so intuitive. And if we can tap into that feminine intuition and be like, let's listen to that little inner
Mhm.
voice. Like that little inner voice for me started happening even before I decided to leave and like gain the weight. Something within me was like, pharmaceutical sales doesn't feel right. Like, no, you're meant for more. But I was like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Like things were showing up, but I was like ignoring, ignoring, ignoring until it kind of blew up in my
Mhm.
face.
Yeah. Why do you think so many women stay loyal to their outdated version of themselves, even if it's not really working any longer?
Because it has a level of validation and success, right? Like
Hmm.
they're making money from it or they feel validated by it and their ego is keeping them, our ego wants to keep us safe, secure, and validated. So even though they may feel like, I know I've outgrown this,
Hmm.
I know I'm meant for more, but I'm making a lot of money, or my boss loves me, or everyone loves me. It's just a level of validation. That's what happened to me with when I shut down my fitness coaching business. I stayed
Hmm.
in the fitness and health industry longer than I knew I should have. I was done years ago. And I knew I was meant to do deeper work. Like I wanted to
Hmm.
speak, I wanted to do this identity, mindset, nervous system coaching, but the health coaching business made me really successful, made me a lot of money.
Hmm.
I was getting a lot of validation. Oh, look at your body. Oh, it looks good. And, that's part of what I'll be honest about in my future book too, because it hit me like, wow, I'm just doing this because I feel really validated. So that's
Yeah.
why.
And do you think also that I watch women's especially transformations and to really take it to that next level, what in really pursuing your passion and what you want to do, there to your point, there's some deep work that has to be done, right? Like, and I think a lot of people just don't want to. They're like, nope, I've buried that. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah. I don't want to do this, or I don't
Have
want
to
to
face
face.
it.
Yeah, I don't want to have to face that. Or like I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
like grieving our old identities, super
Yeah.
painful and uncomfortable. Or like that, or that, what I call the messy middle. Like you said, there's probably a lot of women who want to go here. They like want to shift into this
Hmm.
next identity, but they're stuck here. That's like that messy middle. Like you're feeling confused, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling pulled in different directions. It's a real thing. This is why I coach on
Yeah.
identity. And there's like four phases to it. And identity transformation actually fully takes 2 to 3 years, scientifically proven.
Wow.
So if you're in this phase where like, oh, I'm listening, this is resonating, but Coach Ange, I've been trying to do these things and shit ain't changing, like it's gonna take a little bit longer. It's
Yeah.
gonna take deeper work. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think it looks like when ambition is healthy versus when ambition becomes a coping mechanism?
Yeah, great question. To me, healthy ambition looks like your life is expanding, not just like the bank account, right? Like, sure, that's part of it,
Yeah.
but like your life is expanding. You energetically feel light. You feel like things are flowing. You feel aligned and confident in your body. No, you don't need to like be ripped and have a six pack, but you feel good. You feel healthy. You
Hmm.
feel healthy in your relationships. You feel this sense of expansion, healthy expansion in your
Hmm.
life. And then when ambition becomes, what was the word you used?
Like a coping mechanism
Like a
almost.
coping mechanism, like yeah, like we're dependent on it. I feel like you're shrinking. You can become a shell of
Yeah.
yourself, like you're contracting. It affects your relationships, it affects your health. It eventually can start to
Hmm.
affect your business and your body, right? Like if you're overly ambitious and you're just chasing the next close, right? I coached a lot of realtors and lenders, like next
Yeah.
deal, next deal, next deal. You're so attached to that money, 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 and you forget about the journey and you lose presence.
Hmm.
You look, you're like, oh, when was the last time I like walked down to the beach? Or I have that client say that, yeah, I live by the beach. I haven't walked down to the beach in so long. I'm like, why not? Like you're just so,
Yeah.
the word that comes to me is like the shrinking, the contraction, and
Yeah.
healthy ambition feels like expansive in all areas of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know in my journey, I've felt when it's healthy, I feel a lot of joy and excitement for what I want to
totally.
do. You know what I mean? Where, yeah, when it's coping or you're just getting the to-do list done, it's just like I'm high strung. I'm
High
like,
strung. You're like
you
wired
know?
but tired, and you
Yeah.
feel like this. It's honestly energetically, it's like the drag, and there's a
Yeah.
fine line, right? Because you go from like
Yeah.
woo, Joyce and I'm killing it and I'm like making all the money and I'm expanding. Then all of a sudden, like you cross that threshold and now it's like, oh my God, the to-do list. Oh my God, I'm laying in bed, running through everything I need to do. I don't feel like it's that fine line.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you have said that the identities we chase to feel worthy are rarely the ones that matter in the end. Why do you think so many women attach their worth to what they do?
I think it stems from childhood. Something they heard a
Yeah.
parent say, something they heard a teacher say. For me, like I said in my TEDx, it was like it was my father, but then it was also like the teachers, the accolades, like, oh, you got another A, another straight A, you got straight A's, you got good grades, you're graduating with honors. And it's like the achievement made me like that's what I was associating with love too, right? I was like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm gonna get more love from my teachers, from my parents, and then
Yeah.
from eventually from colleagues, right? In the pharmaceutical sales, oh, you won this award, you're number one. Like we associate that with love. And
Yeah.
what love is one of the basic human, excuse me, human needs, right? So of
Hmm.
course, right? Of course.
Yeah,
That's what
that
I
makes
think it
sense.
stems from. Yeah. It goes deep, right? It goes
Oh,
deep.
for sure. Yeah, which is why to really have that transformation, you have to do some of that work, right? And
You
work through
do.
some of that and
And then
find
there's
your own worth.
exactly find your own worth. And then there's also generational trauma too, like
Yes.
things that were going on when you were in your mother's womb that your mother was dealing with,
Mhm.
things that she was dealing with from her mother. I mean, this is a whole nother topic, but that gets passed down too. So is it just from things my dad and my parents had or my teachers? No, it's also probably from some other things that were happening generationally as well.
Yeah. Wow. So you've said it's okay to be disloyal to the version of you that made you successful in order to be honest about who you're becoming. What does that look like in real life?
I can use myself again if that's okay. I mean, for
Love
me,
it.
it
Yeah.
was that shutting down the seven-figure health and fitness business, being disloyal to
Yeah.
that identity that made me so successful. I felt so validated. Also coming from being so overweight, I realized like, oh, coming from so overweight to being so fit, there's this deep validation, like kind of like, look at me now, wow, and look at these thousands of women that I've helped transform their lives and bodies too. And shutting that down was being disloyal to a version of me that had been around for over a decade. And it was really painful.
Hmm.
A lot of crying. I had to like work with my coach through it. I went to the beach. I wrote that version of me letters. I put her in the ocean. Like, and it's still some days like she still pops up like, well, this would be easier just to go back to that because everyone knows you as that. And I'm like, but I'm
Hmm.
not that anymore. So I really had to be disloyal to this version of me that started when I was 27 and I'm in my
Hmm.
40s now. So I was very attached to it. It made me part of who I am, but also part of growth is letting go of the pieces that are no longer serving you. So
Yeah.
I call it being disloyal. So it's like, I got to be disloyal to this piece of me in order to step into this next level version of me, which is the keynote speaker, the mindset identity coach, right? Coaching women on a much deeper level than what I was doing. And it's not that health isn't a piece of what I do. It'll always be a piece. You can't be a high performer and ignore your health and
Yeah.
wellness. But I'm not
Right.
leading with it. I'm not sitting here all day talking about hormones and gut health and weight loss. Like I'm not. That doesn't light
Hmm.
me up like it used to. Is it important for the women I coach? Yes, but we're not
Right.
going straight to that first. Yeah.
Right. Nice. Why do you think so many high achievers like normalize exhaustion?
Ego. Like they love to just like wear busy as a badge. I'm busy. I'm busy. It's like, yay.
Yeah.
It's like we're a bit like busy as a badge of honor. And their nervous systems become so accustomed to the constant hustle, the constant motion, that when they slow down, they actually don't feel safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So their nervous system is like, what's going on when they actually slow down? So
Yeah, I
they,
love that
they
you brought that up because I was going to ask you next. A lot of people hear nervous system regulation, but they don't completely understand it. How would you explain it kind of simply?
Yeah, simply. Okay. So your nervous system
As
has two,
simply.
simply, so I don't like to get too sciencey anyway. Your nervous system has two states, right? Parasympathetic, which is rest and digest, and then the sympathetic state, which is the stress state, which is what
Mhm.
most people are operating in 99.7% of the time.
Yeah.
Because especially high achievers are used to the motion, the go, the hustle, the pushing, that type of energy, that
Mhm.
in motion, they stay in that sympathetic stress state, high cortisol, high adrenaline. That causes brain fog, fatigue, weight gain, exhaustion,
Mhm.
unfulfillment, disconnection, all the things we've talked about, right?
Yeah.
So that is the most simple way to explain the nervous system. And
Yeah.
one thing I also want to say that I think is important, you can't just regulate your nervous system without actually understanding why you're dysregulated in the first place, which is why I
Mhm.
always lead my coaching with identity. We need to understand why you're a people pleaser, why you self-sabotage, why you feel like where these patterns are coming from, then we get to regulating your nervous system, of course, whether it's breath work, meditation, whatever the avenues are. But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people just kind of want to slap a band-aid and be like, well, I know I'm like dysregulated. I just need to, we got to get underneath that, right? We got to get to the root
Yeah.
cause. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. How does an unregulated nervous system impact someone's business or relationships, money, decisions, or leadership?
Oof, well, everything I just said, right? So when you're
Yeah.
in a high stress state, high cortisol, brain fog, and when you're highly, highly dysregulated, your prefrontal cortex, the area of your brain that's responsible for decision making, emotional regulation,
Mm.
strategic thinking, it actually goes offline. So us high
Yeah.
achievers, us female founders, business owners, we need that to be online, or else like you have brain fog, you don't have clarity. I've had clients come to me. One client came, she's like, I think I want to quit being a realtor. I was like, why? You have referrals, like your business is flowing. She's like, I can't shut off. I'm so burnt down, I'm so exhausted. And when I realized how dysregulated she was, I was like, oh, this is her prefrontal cortex talking because you become irrational when that part of
Yeah.
your, so she was so irrational. She's like, I'm burning everything down. I'm like, if that's what you want to do, I support you, but let's see what's going on here
Yeah.
first. So I helped regulate her. We did some identity work, horrible people pleaser, like so many women I'm sure you talked to.
Mm-hmm.
Once we broke through that, she actually realized, oh no, I love real estate. I'm going to move into the equestrian niche and I love horses and this is so much better for me. So she actually made a shift and started making more money, but we had to get through that. So that's
Yeah.
how it shows up. It does affect your business. And listen, your nervous system state will either be your business's ceiling or a really strong foundation. And you want it
Mm.
to be a really strong foundation. You don't want it to be the thing capping your next level of growth. And if you don't take care of yourself and your identity and do the work, it will cap you.
Yeah. I love that. So I know there is a lot of deep work to be done, but do you have a few small practices that women can start using to feel a little bit more present and regulated?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say, I love this tool, and I did it at the Investor Con keynote I just did, and it's such a simple tool. Take out a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On one side, write a plus. On one side, write a minus sign. On the negative minus sign, write down everything that's draining you, your energy. If it's
Mm.
environment, if it's people, if it's something you're doing, if it's, if you're a founder, there's maybe pieces of your work that you don't like, everything that's draining you that feels misaligned and unfulfilling. On the plus side, everything that's bringing you joy, fulfilling you, feels aligned. Now, on the negative side, the easy part's writing down. The hard
Yeah.
part, pick one thing. Maybe you're like this person that I hang out with a lot, they're actually really negative, they're draining me. Okay,
Mm.
you're going to start to distance yourself from them. That is such an easy tool to help
Yes.
you become more regulated and for you to raise your vibration. The other
Mm-hmm.
thing to do is to just get really real with yourself and ask yourself, like, where in my life am I operating from what looks like I'm a high achiever, I'm a leader, but it's
Mm-hmm.
actually draining me? Like, ask yourself that question and you're going to write some things down and be like, oh, okay, like control freak. Like when I had a
Yeah.
team, like try to control everything they were doing, like I'm a control freak. This is actually really draining, this part of my identity. So get real with yourself. I would start there, and I'd start
Yeah.
there. And then for presence, I would start every morning with just 5 minutes of breathing or put on some
Mm-hmm.
like, healing tones. YouTube has a million, Insight Timer, Calm app. There's so many apps. Don't check your phone first thing. When you wake up
Mm-hmm.
in the morning, you're in theta state. That's a beautiful state to be in. The second you pick up that phone to answer a work email or a text, you move from theta to beta. Beta, think
Mm-hmm.
busy, 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 busy. We're in beta state all day long. So you take your
Yeah.
brain to this beautiful, relaxed state to just like give yourself a moment of presence and awareness
Mm-hmm.
and connect to you before you give yourself to everyone and everything else in the world. That'll help you be
Yeah.
more present.
I love that.
And don't bring
See,
your phone
I
on
also,
walk.
that's right. Just keep it in the other room until you've done your things.
Exactly.
I loved your reframe around obligation versus opportunity. So instead of I have to, shifting to I have the opportunity to,
Yes.
why do you think that is such a powerful mindset shift?
Because a lot of us, whether it's in our business or with our health, we're like, oh, I have to get this workout in. Oh, Coach Ange told me to do this workout. Oh,
Mhm.
I have to post every day. I know I have to. That really leaves, if you think of like the energetic imprint on our bodies, that feels kind of like gross, right? It's like, oh, I have to do this. It just comes from a really negative standpoint. But if you say, okay, I get to, and you look at this as an opportunity, you have an opportunity to be able to move your body, take a walk, lift some weights. There are people that can't do that. You're fortunate enough to do that.
Mhm.
You're blessed to be able to do that, right? You have an opportunity. You have an online business or you're trying to grow your business. It's an opportunity post. Can it get a little draining and annoying in the online world? Yeah, but set boundaries. pick the times you're going to post, pick the times you're going to comment. Don't sit there scroll all day. Like have good boundaries with yourself. But so many people, and our society in general and people in general, we have 90,000 thoughts in a day. Most of them
Mm-hmm.
are negative and repetitive and imprinted from other people too. So
Mm-hmm.
shifting the mindset to be more positive is just one little thing to make you feel better. Like, okay, this is not really an obligation. It's an opportunity I have in my business, in my life, in my health.
So tomorrow, I'm gonna give my kids the opportunity to do
Yes.
some laundry. I'm
Yeah.
gonna reframe the chores and see how
There you
well
go.
it's
And this
received.
is, you have an opportunity to learn how to be a future good wife or husband to your partner and take care of yourself.
Yes,
This is an opportunity for you. Yes.
yes, we really have talked about that. I'm like, what do we got? 12 weeks of summer here. There's like, if you have the opportunity to cook one meal a week, that's like 12 meals you're gonna learn in just one summer. Like, think about
Exactly.
how much better of an adult you're gonna be. So,
Yeah, you're going to be such a better adult now that you've had the opportunity to learn how to. My parents used to make me dust and do dishes. Like my mom would
oh
get
yeah.
a step stool when I was 5 so I could learn to do the dishes. Like what the
Mm-hmm.
heck? So, back then it felt like, yeah, this is an annoying obligation. But now I learned, like, okay, this is how you take care of a home and clean and do the
Yes.
thing.
Exactly, exactly. So you've also say that you're either doing the thing or you're not. So how do you balance that level of personal responsibility with compassion for yourself?
Oof. So, like when I moved across country, I was like, I am team no plan B. I really feel like if you want to go all in on something, like you go
Yeah.
all in, right? Like when I wanted to lose the 40 pounds, I wasn't like, okay, I'm maybe gonna try this coach out and I'm like maybe gonna lift. I was like, no, I'm going all in. I'm hiring this coach, which by the way, I was only 27. I was making crap money, but I was like, I don't care. I'm figuring it out. Like I
Hmm.
went all in on that. I went all in on business. When I moved my business from in-person to online, it was scary. I lost all my in-person clients. I go all in. So if you're really
Hmm.
passionate about something and you want to see great results, you can't tiptoe your way in. Like it's not
Yeah.
tiptoeing your way into the ocean, all the way in, deep dive, let's go. How do you balance it with, you mean like not getting burnt out?
Yeah.
I think it's hard because I think parts of me, especially like my type A, I'm an Aries, New Yorker energy, it did
Hmm.
burn me out. So I think this is where having the level of awareness and assessing yourself and checking in with yourself and slowing down comes in. Like, okay, assessing yourself, doing the plus minus activity maybe once a week, journaling, seeing
Hmm.
how you feel, slowing down. You're only going to know if you actually take a second to slow down, or else you keep going, keep going. Back then, I was too young to even be thinking of these things. And this is what I've learned, and this is why I like to coach on it. But now that your audience is listening, they can have this awareness like, okay, I do want to go all in on my new business, but I do need to make sure that I'm breathing and I'm looking at my identity
Yeah.
and how I'm behaving and I'm not saying yes to every opportunity and I'm making sure the opportunities are in line. It's like little self check-ins need to happen.
Yeah. And for me, I've learned like I also have to make like project priority lists
Yeah.
and focus on one thing at a
Yes.
time because my all in can be like, I'm gonna do all of these things all at one time. And
Yeah.
then I'm
Yeah.
like, what? So
Yeah.
like prioritizing like, okay, here's the big picture. Let's break this down into bite-sized pieces and tackle one thing at a
Tackle
time.
one
So
thing. Yeah.
I don't lose my mind too.
Yeah. And you don't get burnt out if you're trying to do, and also like you're just more focused. Focus on one thing, go that way, or else you're going to burn yourself
Yeah.
out, get completely overwhelmed.
Yeah. So another phrase that I loved from you is connection over curation. That
You really
feels like
stopped me.
so relevant right now. I did. What does that mean to you?
In a world where, I said this before even AI blew up as much as it did. This was a year ago on a stage at Inman Real Estate Conference, talking about social media.
Hmm.
Yes, I think branding is important, but I think when people think of branding, they get too in their heads and everything needs to look a certain way. People are looking for connection, especially now, even more so with AI.
Hmm.
Do I use like ChatGPT to help me like maybe make a carousel? Yeah, but like I'll tell you, just me pulling up the phone and talking on camera, like with no makeup on, always perform better than when I have my
Yeah.
hair and makeup done. So it's
Hmm.
worrying less about like perfection, whether it's in a
Yeah.
piece of content or and just being your real self. Focus on connection. And this doesn't matter what line of work you're in, focusing on the connection. Yeah,
Hmm.
people or they want to hear like your stats, your this, your that, but like focus on you, what makes you unique, right? And that connection
Yeah.
with the person that you're helping over like curating every little thing or trying to speak perfectly, and that was a good reminder for me when I give keynotes on stage too. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. I just need to connect with the audience, use my humor, use
Hmm.
my personality. If I got a line, who cares? Like, I'm there to connect and help people.
Yeah, I'm interested in this because I've gone through this journey myself. But how do you personally stay connected to who you really are while also being visible online and in business? Because I struggled a lot of times. There's being authentic, right? And then I'm kind of a private person, so it was hard for me to kind of share personal stuff. And then I had a coach tell me once, well, Jen, there's a difference between personal and private information. You know what I mean? And then that kind of put that in perspective for me. But how do you
Yeah, I
answer
think
that?
that's a great perspective. There were times when I used to share a lot more, and I think just being in the online space now for over a decade, I've pulled back some of it. Like we don't need to see everything I'm
Hmm.
eating, everything that I'm doing with my husband. But I do think it's important to share for people to get to know you. So the way I think about it is like, okay, let's say someone's purchasing coaching from me. Yes, sure, they want to see like my client testimonials and the work I do, but they also want to get to know me as a person. So I think it's
Hmm.
important to show little other pieces like me and my dog, or that I'm out for a run, or that I'm funny, or whatever it may be. So I just think there's just remembering like people need to get to know you, but you don't need to show every little thing.
Yeah,
Just just
yeah,
enough so people can
I
see your
agree.
personality. And I honestly think I could do a better job. I think I got away from it because I was doing so much of it that I
Hmm.
pulled back. So, and it's a good reminder. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, talking about health and wealth a little bit, your work connects health, mindset, performance, and wealth. Why do you think health has to be part of kind of the success conversation?
Well, you can make all the money in the world, but it's useless if you don't feel aligned and vibrant and
Yeah.
joyous. Yeah, and your body is a vessel, right? So we can,
Hmm.
your body keeps score of everything going on. Your issues, I always say this, your issues live in your tissues, right? So anything that
Hmm.
you have, any trauma, anything you've been carrying your whole entire life, and you'll carry that with you. And if you don't address it, if you don't address what's going on, it will start to sneak up and affect your profits and affect your revenue and affect your
Yeah.
wealth. And in order for you to grow and expand as a human and grow your business and expand that wealth, you have to be really living confidently aligned in your body. So I do believe, wellness and health and, I don't mean from like a body transformation perspective, I just mean like living a healthy lifestyle so you feel clear and vibrant and aligned. You're
Hmm.
going to show up as your best self. Every high performance book I've ever read, and for me as a high performer and you as well,
Hmm.
we perform better when we get our workouts in, when we drink enough water,
Yeah.
sleep well, when I meditate, when I ground, when I have presence, when I play with my dog. Doesn't mean I'm obsessing or working out 7 days a week. It just means I'm taking care of myself. And I don't think enough entrepreneurs treat their bodies and health like they treat their businesses. And if they
Hmm.
did, they'd be healthier, they'd be happier, and they would actually be making more money.
I 100% agree. I look at some successful people that like don't work out and I look at them and I'm like, where is all your stress right now? Because I
Oh,
know it's in there. And like if I don't work out in the work, like that's my dump. Like that's I work out because yes, it keeps me in shape and that makes me feel good and I'm healthier for it, but it's more for my mindset and my mental health than anything else. So I look at people that don't and I'm like, where is all that stress
I don't
going?
know.
You
I
must have
know.
clogged arteries or something because
Yeah,
I
something
don't
like
know what I would do.
Yeah, the stress relief and also, I mean, maybe hopefully they're walking. I don't know, just just something. Movement is so
Yeah,
important, for the dopamine and serotonin, and there's so many layers. It's also like taking care of your gut health. Dopamine and serotonin are located in your gut, and if your
yeah,
new clients are closing a big deal and you have brain fog, everything bleeds into everything. They're not separate.
yeah, yeah. So, what do you think women should stop sacrificing in the name of success?
I think they should stop sacrifice their overall well-being.
Yeah,
I don't want to
I
just say
agree.
like health. I mean their overall well-being because it could be the people pleasing, which is more like a mindset thing, or it could be like they're not taking care of their health, like we said before. I don't just want to say
Yeah,
health because I think for some women they may go to the gym and eat well and do these things, but then they're people pleasing and self-sabotaging and they don't feel they're worthy. So I think it's a combination of those things.
yeah, perfect.
Self-abandonment, like in different ways we abandon ourselves, whether that's with our health or whether that's with like people pleasing, no boundaries, things like that. Self-abandonment.
Yeah. And if a woman wants more energy or more confidence and more alignment, where would you suggest that she begins?
Body and mind. So
Yeah.
working with the body and then the mind is connected too. So I think doing the identity work, uncovering like
Hmm.
what she feels is capping her, but then also
Yeah.
doing the work on her body. like, and where every person's different where they're at, but making sure that like she feel confident in her body, because that exudes when you're on stage, when you're closing deals, when you're on camera, all the things. So making sure that you feel confident and aligned in your body.
Okay. Love it. Okay, going deeper with you for just a few questions and then we'll wrap up. What part of your current season feels like growth, but maybe doesn't feel comfortable yet?
Ugh. Me personally?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, it's been this shift into the, high performance executive leadership coaching. I've been doing it for behind the scenes for a while, but like publicly,
Hmm.
just for like a little over 7 months. And it feels, yeah, it feels uncomfortable for me because like I
Hmm.
said, when I was known as a fitness and health coach, everything flowed really easy and everyone knew me as that. So all my followers knew me as that. So it's like a rebirth. Here I
Yeah.
am, a person, not the
Yeah.
same company. So yeah, it feels uncomfortable for sure. It's like
Okay.
reinventing yourself, but publicly. Like a lot of people get to do it privately. Like I'm literally I've reinvented myself online.
Yeah.
So, and I could see the dip. I could see the dip in my posts. I could see the dip in, not my following stay the same, but I could see the dip in the engagement because they're like, oh, Angelica's not posting like what to eat today or fitness tip. It's like,
Hmm.
I get it. It's fine. I don't,
Yeah.
I'm still, once again, I'm still all in and believe in what I'm doing.
And honestly, that's part of, I feel like, filtering and finding your real
Yeah.
followers, anyways, right?
Yeah, yeah, you don't like it, you could leave. Like, I don't care. If I
Yeah.
had 1,000 followers, they'll care about what I'm talking about. I don't care about the
Yes.
number. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, so what do you think ambitious women are secretly craving right now, but are afraid to say out loud?
More peace,
Yeah.
more alignment, more freedom from like feeling like they need to prove themselves in their career or their business or to the
Mhm.
online world. Yeah, alignment with like how they're living, who they want to be in it, like in synchronicity with their success.
Okay, perfect. And what is something you believe now that your younger self would have struggled to understand?
That my worthiness is not based on like all my achievements, like the money I make, the
Mhm.
accolades, the awards, the being number
Yeah.
one. But I still struggle to understand that sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it's my life's work. But like, yeah, that's definitely a piece for sure.
Okay. And last, if every woman listening could walk away with one question to ask herself after this episode, what would it be?
Hmm. One question to ask themselves. I would use the one that I asked during the TEDx because I think it's such a powerful question. Do you have the courage to be disloyal to who you've been in
Mm,
order to be honest about who you're becoming? Your
perfect.
true next level, your next level of yourself, your next level of alignment, your next level of health, wealth, and happiness. Do you have the courage to be disloyal to that version of you that got you here? Because there's always a next level for us as
Hmm.
humans to grow.
That's perfect. I love that. Oh my gosh, what an amazing conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
what I keep coming back to is this idea that so many women are not stuck because they lack ambition. They're stuck because they're like still operating under this old identity, just like you just said. So the version
Yeah.
of them that's survived, that's achieved, that's pushed through, that's learned to be successful. So if you're listening, that next level isn't about becoming more disciplined, more productive, or more impressive. Maybe the next level is about becoming more honest, like Angelica said. Honest about what's no longer aligned, honest about what's costing us peace, honest about who we're becoming now. So if
Yes.
this episode resonated with you, I highly encourage you to connect with Angelica, follow her work, and explore her resources around the aligned method and high performance DNA, identity, burnout, nervous system regulation, and sustainable success. We will have all of her links and information in the show notes. And if you loved the conversation, please follow She Talks Money, leave a
Woo.
review, and send this episode to another ambitious woman who may just need permission to release who she's been in order to step into her who she's becoming. Because success should not cost us our health, our peace, or ourselves. Until next time, keep building wealth, keep building freedom, and keep becoming the woman you're meant to be.